Hi, welcome to the Science Corner. My name is Dionne. I work for the Ascension Parish Library in Donaldsonville. Today we're going to discuss and demonstrate Isaac Newton's third law of motion. Let's talk a little bit about Sir Isaac Newton. Newton was born in England on December 25th, 1642. He was born as a very sickly child and prematurely. However, he demonstrated great ability in mechanical things. When his mother was widowed again, she wanted to take Newton out of school and make him a farmer. However, his uncle knew that Isaac Newton had great abilities, so he got him back in school, ready to take the university entrance examination. Newton did graduate from college. He graduated from Trinity College in Cambridge and went on to earn a higher degree as well. In 1668, he became a professor of mathematics at only the age of 26. In Cambridge, he wrote and completed the great work entitled Mathematical Principles of Natural Philosophy. However, he didn't have the money to get it published, but he had a good friend named Edmund Halley who was very wealthy, and Edmund financed his book so he could get it published. This was one of the greatest scientific works ever published. Isaac Newton did discover the law of gravity as well as the laws of motion. How did Newton discover the laws of gravity? An apple fell from the tree, and that is actually a true story how he discovered gravity. What is exactly gravity? Gravity is the force by which a planet or other body draws objects to its center. The force of gravity keeps everything down. Without gravity, we wouldn't have things because things would be all over the place. We need gravity to keep everything down on the ground. Newton remained at Cambridge for another 30 years and worked mostly alone, but eventually it appeared he got bored being at Cambridge. So he was elected president of the Royal Society in 1703. And in 1704, Isaac Newton was knighted by Queen Anne. So now he became Sir Isaac Newton. He worked as the president of the Royal Society until his death on March 20th, 1727. Newton was given a state funeral and buried in Westminster Abbey, an occasion that prompted Voltaire, a French famous writer and philosopher, to remark that England honored scientists and mathematicians as other nations honor a king. So basically, what is Newton's third law of motion? For every action, there is an equal in size and opposite in direction reaction. And today, we are going to make a balloon pinwheel to demonstrate Newton's third law of motion. Now joining me is going to be Beth, and she will demonstrate how to make a balloon pinwheel and also how to do the experiment of demonstrating Newton's third law of motion.
Hi, my name's Beth, and I work at the Ascension Parish Library in Donaldsonville. And I'm here to show you today that the craft we're going to do, or the experiment actually, about Newton's third law of motion. It's called a balloon pinwheel. In the packet that you've picked up at the library, you will have a roll of duct tape, a balloon, a straw, and a pencil, an instruction sheet, and on your packet, on your bag, is a sticker, and there's a pin behind that sticker, so you need that. Okay, you ready to get started? Let's go. Okay, now we're going to assemble our craft, or our experiment, actually. Take the straw and opposite ends, on the opposite end of the bend, you're going to put the balloon on, okay? All right. You know, about half an inch or so into the balloon. And I have a little piece of tape here, and I'm going to tape it on the straw. Not going to be pretty, but it'll work. Okay, nice and tight. And you kind of squish it all in there so it's nice and tight. Then you take your pin and you put it just past the tape. And you're going to poke it through the entire straw. Okay, can you see this? It's going to be kind of slippery. All right, now you got your pin in there. You're going to take your pencil and you're going to stick the pin in the eraser. Now, you want to see how it works? I'm going to blow up the balloon. Here we go. Okay, watch. Now, back to Dionne to explain the science of this experiment.
When Beth took the pencil and the straw and blew into the straw, it moved in the opposite circular motion. It moved opposite from her. And Newton's third law of motion states that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. The laws of motion belong to the science of physics. It's important to remember that scientists do not create natural laws, they simply discover them. What is motion? Motion is when an object is moving. An object is at rest until something causes it to move. For every action, there is a reaction. I'm dropping that pencil. For the action of me dropping it, it fell to the ground. That was the reaction. A force is a push or pull that affects the motion of an object. An example of force is gravity. Gravity pulls everything down to the earth. Without gravity, we wouldn't have things on the ground. We wouldn't be able to have anything without gravity. Gravity is very important. With enough information, a scientist can figure out how much force was used to push or pull on an object when in motion. If every force has an equal and opposite reaction, how can motion ever happen? The forces in the action-reaction pair do not act on the same object in the same way. For example, when an axe chops wood, the axe moves down onto the wood. When it chops it, it breaks the wood apart. That is an opposite reaction from the wood going down and from the axe going down and the wood breaking apart. However, if the axe chopped on the wood and the wood didn't break apart, there would be no opposite reaction. Thus, there would be no motion and the wood would not get chopped. Another example of Newton's third law of motion is when a hummingbird flies. Because every action has an equal and opposite reaction, the air below the hummingbird pushes up against the bird's wings, while the bird's wings push down on the air below. When the wings of the bird push down on the air below and the air is pushing it up, the bird flies. Because of the laws of physics that Sir Isaac Newton discovered, we have developed technologies of all kinds, including airplanes that fly. Well, that's the end of today's lesson. We hope you have enjoyed the library's Science Corner. We ask you to tune in again in the library's YouTube channel. And we thank you so much. Have a great day.